everybody, this is Bonnie from Bonnie's Creative Place.stampinup.net, and I am coming here with you today to make this beautiful Easter card. It may look very hard, but in all reality it is a very simple card to make. So without any further ado, let's get started. Before we start actually making this card, I want to let you know a little bit of information that's going on right now. If you would still like the chick bundle, you can still order this. I'll make sure all the information is linked in the description box below. Also, if you order anything from me in the month of March, you can receive the Creative Cardiology team's butterfly card tutorial for free. And I email this to you, so I have to make sure I have your email. So if you order, make sure you fill out the email part, and then you will receive this for free. Then also, the Butterfly Brilliance Bundle is available now. So I'm going to be playing with this throughout the month and into the next month. And if you would like to receive any of this, you can. I am told that the paper will not be carrying over into the new catalog, but the bundle itself will. So if you just want the paper, get the paper now while you can. Okay, now that all that's out of the way, let's get making this card. Oh, one more thing. If you see the little pink square over there on the right hand side, if you click on that little pink square, you'll be subscribed to all my videos and all my up and coming videos so that you will not miss out on anything that I post on YouTube. So now let's get started into the card. So for this card, we're going to need a base card that is 8.5 by 5.5 and it's scored at 4.5 or 4 1/4 in the middle. Then we need another piece of Whisper White that is 5 1/4 by 4. And this is going to add all our little sunbursts to them. We need a piece of vellum because I have a vellum behind the little cross. So we need a piece of vellum. Then we need a piece for our stamping, and that's just a scrap piece. And then we have our ribbon. And then we have 8 pieces of 2 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches long, and this is of Daffodil Delight, and we have 8 of these. So let's get to trimming these, how these have to be trimmed. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer here. I'm going to get it up in the camera as far as I can. Okay, you guys can see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from this point to this point, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut. And sometimes when you're using your cutter, if you go to cut, see how that stops? It's stopping me from pushing that. So the best way so that you don't ruin your points is to start over or start in the middle. So you start like this, you come this way, then you go back. And that does not ruin your points, and you need your points on this. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these up, and then I will get right back to you. So now we're going to bring in this piece of Whisper White that we have. And I am just going to try to find the center piece of this piece. 2 3/4. So it's 2 3/4 along. All I'm going to do is take a light pencil mark here. And this is just for the beginning and the only reason why we need it. So I'm just going to take a light pencil mark very lightly. It might pick up in the camera, I don't know. But I put a very light pencil mark right around that so that you guys could see where, well, you might not be able to see, but when you're looking at it, you could see where we're going to place these. Whew, that was a lot of information. So now I'm going to take one of these points and I'm going to put one on this side of the pencil, and then I'm going to take the other one and I'm going to put it on this side of the pencil line. They're leaving a little bit of a gap. No rhyme or reason how much of a gap, because they're all going to start to get different, so it doesn't matter. So I am going to take and I'm going to put adhesive. I don't need to go the whole length of it yet because I'm just working right here on the end of this. I'm kind of eyeballing, which we can just get another one with a point here if you wanted to, and kind of, I like to just eyeball things and I'm able to do that, but I want it to you guys to know that you don't have to. And I'm just kind of putting this right here, and this just like this. You can leave a little gap. You don't have to leave a gap. It's whatever you want to do. I did kind of leave a little gap there. And then I just went like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I like to get my base set first. And this is what I'm talking about, the base. I'm talking about the 4 on the top and on the bottom. And I had a little glob of glue there, and of course I tried to wipe it off, and now I got, there we go. So now we're going to get another one. Let me make sure. I want to make sure I'm putting the glue on the right side of it. And of course I didn't, so it's a good thing I have another side over here. Okay. And then I'm just kind of lining up the points, leaving a gap in the middle where that pencil is, and that's okay. We'll erase that when we're done. And then we're going to get another one, and this time I need it to go that way. And I'm just putting this down. Okay, so it's just like that. And now it's pretty basic. I am just going to keep going like this, lining my points up in the center and going around the whole card. We may use all 8 of these, we may not. It all depends on how big of a gap. If you leave a bigger gap, you may not use them all. If you leave less of a gap, you may use them all. And just be mindful of how far your card is going to be down, because then that determines how much more ink you have to put on your or adhesive. You can use liquid glue on this. I find the snail works just as good, so you don't have to. And I like when it starts out small and the sunburst gets bigger. So you may not need to use all 8 pieces of this. The last one I used 8. This one I have a feeling I'm not going to be using 8, because I like the bigger. See how it's got wider, more wider starburst on it? I like that. And then we're going to pick the card up and we're going to turn it over like that. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this. And I'm just going to put one here. But whatever you do to one side, you kind of want to do the same thing to the other side. So if I only use 3 on that side, I only want to use 3 on this side, because you're kind of lining up the starburst with the starburst, so, or sunburst or whatever. So I didn't even use all 8 of these on this one. I'll show you what I have left. And that also all depends on how wide, how far you go in, all that stuff. So I still have 1, 2, 3 sets left. So you could actually get away with 5 of these and then cutting them in half instead of doing 8. So it all depends. You're going to have extra. And then I'm going to pick this up and we're going to flip it over. And you can either use your trimmer or you can use a pair of scissors. And I'm going to use a pair of scissors. And I'm just going to cut off all of these on this side. So there we go. I look good. So now we're going to take and we're going to pick this up and we're going to get rid of this out of the way. And before I erase the eraser, they have these little goopy things. Maybe there's some other, I don't even know what the proper name of this is. Stampin' Up! Used to sell it for years. You can get it on Amazon. It takes off little gummy things. If anybody out there knows the proper name for this, please put it in the comments below so that people can find this, because I honestly do not know what the name of this is. It's been years. I've had this for years, and I don't even know if I got this one from Stampin' Up when they had them. I might have had this from when I used to do a lot of scrapbooking, and I might have gotten it then. I might have gotten it from Stampin' Up. I don't know, but I know they used to sell the same thing. So yes, please, if anybody knows what this is called, because I do not even know the name of it, I would really appreciate it in the description box. And all I'm doing here is I'm going around and getting the glue that may have went over. Now, if you use liquid glue, you might not have this issue, or you may have a little glue that it's squeezed out. So this is just what I'm doing, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. So I did that, and then again, I'm going to take my eraser pencil here, and I'm just going to get right in where my light eraser is, or my pencil line is, and I'm going to get rid of that. And I see I didn't want to do that first because I didn't want the eraser stuff to stick to the goop, but it sure did anyway. So there we go. So now we have this starburst. So now we're going to get into some more fun here, and we are going to be taking the scalped circle. It's the second one in the circle layering dies, scalp circle layering dies, and we're going to take the scalped one, and we are just going to run this through the little guy here, and we're going to cut this out. Okay, so let's bring him in, and we will bring in our platform. So we need platform 1, platform 2, then we need our paper and our die, and then we need our other platform 2 on here. Oh, I think I got to do it this way. Yep. And then our other platform. And then, did I off-center them enough? Nope. They say to off-center these dies, or the platforms, when you're putting them through the big guy, because they say it helps it go through better, and it does. It makes it go through a lot smoother. Okay. Alrighty. And then we've got to that. So now let's get to some stamping, and then we will get to some coloring. So I've got my piece here, and the stamp set that I'm using is, I didn't bring it over with me, I'm very sorry, is He Lives. So this is the stamp set that I'm using. I absolutely love this stamp set. It's perfect for Easter, anytime really, but Easter, I love it. Trying to find a block here. Here we go. Put a block down. And I went ahead and I stamped this in Memento black ink, making sure I get ink everywhere. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to flip it upside down, and I can go off to the side. I don't have to be right in the center with my scrap because I'm going to be cutting it out. Just making sure everything absorbs into the paper. There we go. I love the rustic look of that. And then I also am using the stamp set Gift of Hope, and I'm using the words He Lives. And so I'm going to get that one out, and we'll put that one on a block. And I'm going to stamp this one up, making sure I got equal amounts, and I'm just going to stamp this one down here. Oh, that didn't come out very good. I did it too quickly. Let me see. I might be able to fit it right in here. That's better. Okay. So we're done with that. And then the blends I used was Crumb Cake Light and Crumb Cake Dark for this cross. And I went ahead and I colored in like all these little, I don't know, all these little flowery parts here that were on the inside of the card in the light. I didn't do like blending, so I don't want you to think that this is going to be hard or anything, because that's definitely not the case. Stampin' Up! Already did enough of the detail in this cross that I definitely did not need to help it in any way or form. So I'm just leaving, there's like this little outline that is around the outside of the cross and around the little details of stuff, and I just left all that untouched, and that's where I'm going to go around with the dark to give it more of a pop on the, I'm trying to make it look like a wooded cross, and I think I came across with that effect pretty well. So then I just went around the outside where all these lines are, and I just filled in this. Just like this. And then I filled in this stuff right through here. And kind of just filling in all my areas. Okay, so I did that, and that's all I did to this. I'll bring it up closer so you could see it, and that's all I did. Kept it very simple. Used 2 colors, didn't do any blending, just kept it very simple. Well, now you're going to need to get a good pair of scissors, and take your time, whatever, use a scan and cut, whatever you want. And we are going to be, I'm going to cut this off here, we're going to fussy cuss this out. I'm going to fast forward this so you guys do not have to sit through this whole So now I have it all cut out, and now I want you to be very carefully, I've done this before in some videos, but take your black Stampin' Right marker and go ahead and go right on around the outside edges of this, and it just kind of clears up all the edge mark on here. Just be careful that you don't hit your work. That's what I always say, be very careful. Just take your time. There's no rush in it. That's the mistake I made whenever I do this, is I try to rush it. And then when I rush it is when I make a mistake. And it just clears up the edge so it doesn't even look, it looks like you die cutted it out, or I don't know, it gives it more of a wow factor. Now if you use your scan and cut and you want to give it this effect too, just make sure you don't give it any border, and then you could still give it this effect on it. And there we are, we're back around to the beginning. So there we go. So now we're done with that. So now we're going to add the ribbon to our little cross. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some glue dots, and I'm going to take and you guys may have seen me do this in the past, I always try to find an Easter card that has a cross, and I do some type of scene with a cross, and I'm always adding a ribbon on it, just like this. I'm going to put a piece of ribbon here in the back, like that, or a ribbon, a glue dot. And I'm going to put a glue dot here. And I should try to find some of my old ones if I've kept any of them and haven't sent them out, so you guys can see some of the ones from the past that I've done. And then I'm just kind of, you can fold your ribbon and kind of find the center if you want, like that. But I'm going to kind of put that in the center. And then you want to bring this around and flip it so it comes around that way. Leave a little lump, little loopy thing, and then push your ribbon in the back. Hold this here, do the same thing, bring it around, and then push it in the back. Well, that's going to pop up. And then we're going to grab another glue dot, and we're going to put this one right in the center, just like that. And then we're going to bring this one right down to the middle. And it leaves the little lumps, it leaves that little bit of a ribbon there, and it just gives it that really cool effect. And then take your ribbon scissors, and I'm just going to trim this up just a little bit. You can leave it as long as you want, but I like when it's trimmed up a little shorter than the actual cross. And now we're going to set this aside, and we are going to bring in our Daffodil Delight sponge and our Daffodil Delight ink. And I'm going to bring the little starburst in first. I call it a burst, a starburst. And I'm just going to spray, or okay, and you can do as much or as little as you want of that. Then we're going to take some adhesive, and I'm just going to put some right down the middle because you're not going to see it because the cross will be there. And I'm going to put this in the center of this card, just like that. And now before I put this on, put my cross on and all that, I'm going to add this to my base card. Okay, so I've got my base card here. I'm just going to bring this one in, and I'm just going to put it down just like that. And then I'm going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals, or you can also use these edges, which works perfect for this. You just cut a little piece, and then you just put one down through here, like that. Try to get it on the paper. And then there's some on this side that we can use to go across this way. There we go. And then we can use a little, I'll probably use the smaller one right here in the top. And that's a little too much, so we'll trim it down one more. Probably just use a regular dimensional right there on the top. Okay. So now we're just going to peel this off. And then we're just going to center this right down the center of our card. So it's coming along quite nicely. And then I felt like to add a little bit more to it, I wanted to add, got that up a little bit, there we go. I wanted to add some pearls. So I brought in my pearls, and I got some itty bitty ones here that are kind of falling all around. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add pearls. So I'm going to add one pearl right in the center of each one of these. And this just, to me, set this card right off to the next level. I don't know why, I felt like it was just beautiful. It was very beautiful without the pearls too, but this stepped it up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Put these away before I lose them. And then the last thing I did was I took, and yes, you know me, I like to cut out my my words, and so yes, I did that. Scissors. Got scissors for every different thing over here. Okay. And then I put he. And I put this one underneath it. I put lives. Every time I say he lives, I think about that song. He lives so I can face tomorrow. I don't even know. I think it's called He Lives, and I just love that song. And so anyways, this is the card that I made today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you'd give me the thumbs up, like, subscribe, all the good stuff, guys.